On today's podcast, I had Financial Education Jeremy. If you don't know who that is, he is a YouTuber who talks about stocks, and we went into depth about how you can start picking stocks today as a beginner, and I asked him about all the things that I'm curious about stocks. You know, why is Warren Buffett, getting hate recently for his investing strategy? What's going on with Tesla and all these tech stocks? We go into depth of whether or not day trading can be successful, how you do chart analysis. We talked about, his journey working as a convenience store manager to becoming over a seven-figure stock trader and, beyond as an entrepreneur. So it's a really good episode. We go into a lot of things with entrepreneurial journey. He started an app called The Hungry Bull, which we talk about, burning cash and what it's like building a business that way. We also go into his career, first off, as an entrepreneur when he was doing real estate photography, ironically. So it was a really good episode. You guys are going to really like it, so make sure you stay to the end. Now, let's jump into it. Most people want to get rich at all costs. They make sacrifices with their family, their health, and their faith, all in the pursuit of money without even realizing it. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? What if you could grow your wealth in all areas of life? Well, it's possible, and that's why I created The Wealthy Way. It's a community of people striving to grow together in all areas. And we have multiple tools for you to use that are completely free. You can get access to the Wealthy Way Planner, where you can set goals and hold yourself accountable on a daily basis. We also have our Wealth Builder Academy, which is over 4 hours of content teaching you how to manage your time, create the right goals, and all the biggest secrets I've used to grow my life, not only in my net worth, but in all aspects. Lastly, we have our Discord community where thousands of wealth builders are all over the world encouraging one another and growing together. And once again, all of this is completely free. There are no upsells, there are no hidden catches. For me, this is a passion project and I want to build a community of like-minded people. So if you want to start living the wealthy way today, go to wealthyway.com. There you can get all the free resources like the course, planner, and Discord community. So go to wealthyway.com. If you're listening to this podcast, then my guess is you're interested in real estate investing. Some of you are just starting out, while others are trying to scale their business to the next level. But the problem is, with so much information out there, most people don't know which program or coach to trust. Well, I'm a bit biased, but I believe my company, Future Flipper, can help you get to the next level. We've coached thousands of students from all over the world on how to build their real estate investing business. It doesn't matter whether you want to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Our coaching program has everything you need to become a great investor. There are many things that we include with coaching, but to give you a few examples, you're going to get an accountability coach. These are people that have had success in their own business, and they want to make sure that you achieve success in yours. We also have all of our documents, our systems, and processes that I've used to buy hundreds of homes. You can copy and paste them directly into your own business. And we have events where you get to meet me, top-level guest speakers, and other students who are crushing it. My students do deals with each other, and I personally do deals with them too. In fact, at a recent event, I just honored over 20 people in our program that made over $1 million in the last year. So if you want to grow your real estate business, head over to futureflipper.com and apply for a call with our team. The call is completely free, and they can help point you in the right direction whether you work with us or not. So go to futureflipper.com and book your call today. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest.
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
Innovate.
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
And inspire. I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I have the most famous stock picker on YouTube, none other than Financial Education Jeremy.
Oh my gosh, man, that was quite an intro. The most famous on YouTube. I appreciate that. First off, holy smokers, that ain't no jokers. But I'm the stock guy. Stocks every day.
Dude, I thought you were going to come in here with your hat. Where's it at?
Oh my gosh, it's at the house. I should have came in with the hat. That's my mistake.
Yeah. It's all good. That's what when I first started seeing you, our buddy Graham, you guys live close to each other.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first met him, he was asking me, about Vegas and what house you want to get. And he's like, yeah, my buddy Jeremy lives in this community. I want to live next to him. I go, okay, let me go look him up. And then I see this guy with like this big hat, and, like just picking stocks, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you got the cowboy stock picker."
Oh my gosh, the cowboy hat! I remember when I was wearing that for a while. Was that how you came across me, the cowboy hat? Oh, because then I switched to the white hat after a while. So,
dude,
Oh,
hey, you got to
gosh.
be known for something.
Exactly. You know, you gotta make people remember you. I think
Right.
that's the thing, especially on the internet, man. The internet's so flooded with so much all the time. It's like you gotta kind of be a little different. So.
Yeah, like people know me now for my hair, and I
Yeah.
never thought anything about it. I'm like, dude, this is just my hair. Like, it's what it does, and it's just I've always had it like this. But when I started making YouTube, they're like, yeah, the guy with the hair, and I'm just like, so I started dyeing it and just doing random things, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can never really change my hair now,
Yeah, I figured it must take you 20 minutes to do your hair like that. It looks good, man.
dude. If I told you how long it really took, you'd be mad. 'Cause
Oh gosh.
it's literally like, I'm out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's in a minute.
That's awesome.
So, dude, tell me how you got into this, man. You got such a huge YouTube following. You know, you're this guy that everyone looks to for stock picks, and like how'd you get into the market? Because I'm not a
Yeah.
stock guy. Like I know nothing about stocks essentially.
Yeah, so 2008, 2009, so I graduated high school 2008, and then I had about $1,000 saved roughly, and I kind of knew there was a concept of like making your money into money. And with this like $1,000 I had, I was like, okay, where am I going to put this? And I looked at like banks, and obviously, you know, like savings accounts are a joke. You don't make anything on that. CD accounts, you make nothing.
Yep.
So then I was like, okay. Then there was real estate investing. I didn't know anything about it. And I had $1,000. Like, that's not going to work. And so then I came across stock market investing, and I was like, well, you can set up an account. And at that time, they were starting to bring down like the brokerage fees to like $19.95 a trade, which is actually, you know, insane nowadays. It's free.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started looking into it, and next thing you know, I started finding like Warren Buffett type stuff. And so that was what actually led me down the right path. Because at first, when I got in the market, I was buying some like biopharmaceutical stocks. I had no clue what I was doing. I was like, oh, some $8 biopharmaceutical company. Maybe this is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I came across Warren Buffett, and that was what was a game changer for me. And I started kind of going down that route. Intelligent Investor, I read that book, started coming across Peter Lynch and people like that. And then started kind of formulating the idea of looking at stock market investing, not from I'm going to trade in and out of stocks, not I'm going to play stocks, but from a perspective of like a long-term investor would in real estate, where you're looking at a property for, you know, the next 3, 5, 10, 100 years, right? Same thing, looking at a stock from that perspective. And so that's how I really got started, and the rest is kind of history now.
So when you did that, I mean, you didn't have a lot of money. I assume you were working another job while you're figuring out trading.
Yeah. So I was, and what I do is I call it investing. You know, trading. Trading's in the stock market, I usually think about as like day trading. People getting in and out of stocks, or swing trading, which is something I don't do. I'm thinking at least 3 to 5 years out with a company when I invest in it. And for me, yeah, I was working. My first job was Einstein Bagels, cleaning dishes for $7.50 an hour. So yeah, I really started at the bottom. From there, I got upgraded to Walgreens, where I was working the photo department for $8.25 an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, and from there, I got my first good job was 2010 at Quick Trip, which we don't have QT out here.
I know 'em.
You know QT? Okay.
Yeah.
And I got a job as an overnight assistant manager, making 40 grand. And for me, that was all the money in the world at that time at 20 years old. And then I was able to really start funneling like $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month into my account, and just kept investing. And I never took money out, just kept investing. And if I took a gain on a stock, invested that in the next one.
So you always had the long-term mindset when it came to stocks, just studying Warren Buffett and Peter Lynch and these guys.
100%, because if you listen to Buffett and the way he obviously preaches and whatnot, it's really about looking at it as the underlying company. Most people see it as a stock, it's a stock price or whatever, whereas when I look at it, I think about it as what's going on with the underlying business. And if I'm going to invest in a stock, I'm thinking about it from the underlying company, because there's an actual business there, right? And when you buy a share of a stock, you represent part ownership of that company. It could be like this small of a little portion of that company, but you go buy one share of Apple, you're a part owner of Apple now.
Yeah.
It's just a really small part, right?
Well, and you know what's funny is I recently had a microcap guy on the show, and he was the first stock I had on the show. I was like, it's been about 100 episodes in, and I haven't interviewed one of these guys. That's probably not smart. And he said the same thing. He's long-term, you know, he's like, day trading ain't where it's at. And he's like, you know, Ryan, because I was like, I don't get it. Like, how do I know which one to pick? He's like, Ryan, you know what a good business looks like. Like, look, you already created them. You could look at the underlying asset And he's like, I like microcaps because I can call up CEOs and get to know them and see what's going on. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, I never thought about it, but yeah, if I could go talk to CEOs and go see their company, I could tell you right off the bat whether they have a good sales team, they're handling their operations, like what's their products look like. And if I'm investing that way, then yeah, I can bet on a company.
Yeah, 100%. And nowadays, it's so much easier than it's ever been as far as accessing all the data you want. You know, past financials, the reports, the 10K, the 10Q, which will tell you everything in depth about what the business is up to, what they're going after. Conference calls, you know, we make it. I have an app called the Hungry Bowl, and we make it so literally you just type in a ticker symbol, and you can listen to a conference call right through the app, right on your phone.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so everything is so easy compared to how it used to be, because in the past you would have to call up a broker to make a trade, right? Like get on the actual phone, which is just crazy to even think about. And, you know, the commissions you had to pay were insane. So it was really, you know, stock market investing, I will say decades ago was really just a rich man's game or a retiree's game versus now, I don't care how much money you have, whether it's 3K or 5K or 10K or 1K, you know, you can get at least started in it. And yeah, looking at it from the business model is the best perspective. The issue with stock market investing is the market's open, you know, 5 days a week, every week. And you see all these crazy fluctuations. Oh, this stock just went down 20% and up 20%. And really, like, it doesn't mean
business didn't change.
Yes, exactly. But everybody freaks out. And so that's the great thing I think real estate investing has, where, you know, no real estate investor has to look at their portfolio every day and be like, oh, my property just dropped 20%. Oh, it's up 20%. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's was my problem early on with crypto, because it's even more volatile.
Oh, it is, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. And it's just like, to your point, if I believe it in the long haul, I just got to sit.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And then if the cool thing with stock market investing, other than like if you get in a great company, you can make a lot of money, is you get these time periods when things don't make any sense, where stocks will just go down and you can pick them up for very, very cheap. Which I'll say, you know, I love real estate as much as anybody, but I'll say with real estate, you don't really get those opportunities other than something freakish like we had in obviously 07 through 2011, where you get this crazy down market. But even in a lot of recessions, real estate usually doesn't drop much. And so it's so much more stable. You know, you would think, oh, if a recession happens, real estate's got to tank. It doesn't really work like that unless things really got overinflated in a massive way. With stocks, you get deals every day that don't make any sense. A company drops 30% on their earnings for no reason. And it's like they missed their revenue by, you know, 1%. And the stock drops 30%. And it's like, really? You know?
Yeah, that's a stock I want to go after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you were getting started, I mean, obviously you were working at QT. That wasn't enough to build your portfolio to where it is today. Like, how did you, since you weren't taking money out and these were all long-term things, like how did you start making money to invest?
Yeah. So what I did is I try to live really, really modestly. So always like way under my lifestyle that I could be live way under that lifestyle.
Right.
So, you know, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment when I moved out of my parents at 21. Then I had my girlfriend, who ended up becoming my wife. She moved in, started handling the bills. So I was always just like maximum amount I could put in the market, maximum amount. And I hit $100,000 at 23.
Wow.
In the stocks. And then I hit 200K actually at 24. Things were going really good at that time. And just
not active income wise, just the stocks.
No, just stocks. Yeah. And I kept rising the ranks at Quick Trip, so I started making like $50,000 a year, and then at one point like $55,000 a year. You know, as I kind of rose up. So, and then I tried to keep my expenses really low. That was a thing for me, because at that time I had limited income potential. I didn't know how to start a business.
Right.
So, you know, at Quick Trip, like if you do good, maybe you can make an extra $10,000 a year if you get a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, so my thing was I got to live modest, and I got to try to invest as much as possible. So nowadays, thank goodness, I figured as an entrepreneur, you have untapped income potential. But I will say, for anybody out there that's watching this and you're in that situation where you don't know how to become an entrepreneur yet, you don't know how to take your income into your own hands, I think the best thing, the only thing you really have is trying to cut down on expenses during that time, invest as much as possible until hopefully you get to a stage where you can have untapped income.
Right.
So.
No, I totally agree. And it's interesting because for me, I've never had like a real job. You know, I played baseball and that was it. And then I went straight to entrepreneurship.
Wow.
And so like the concept is so foreign to me of like, all right, I'm capped by what I can make, and so I have to do X. I've always been like, well, this is what I want to do, so let's figure out how we're going to do it. And it just makes me think, watching guys like Graham's channel and like just literally what you said. I'm like, man, I never like even talk to those people because I'm always like, just be an entrepreneur. It's that easy. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
But it's not. The majority of people, they do have to do what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's, looking back at that time, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do something, but I just didn't know how to actually execute it and get to that level. And the first successful business I finally had was in 2016. I started a real estate marketing company.
Oh.
Yeah, just taking photos, doing drone videos of homes here in Vegas that were going up for sale. And I was one of the first to capitalize on drones.
Wow.
And I bought like the highest quality DJI drone.
Dude, maybe you've done one of ours. I didn't know.
I don't think so, but yeah, it's that was a tough business to build, and that was my first entrepreneurial journey. It was a grind, man. That first 3-4 months, just reaching out to realtors and reaching out to everybody.
Outbound,
yeah. And I was that business is crazy. I was so desperate for clients in the early days that I would get clients in St. George, Utah, and drive to St. George, Utah. Then I took it a step further, and I started reaching out to LA realtors.
Wow. You were going to go to LA just to drone a house.
Yes, and I did it. I did it because I was that desperate for clients and for like proof projects and things like that. And I remember this one time I did a job, and I drove, it was like a day or so before Thanksgiving. Drove to LA, Beverly Hills. This realtor, he's got like brand new Rolls Royce and whatnot, and or broker, whatever you want to call him. I do a couple drone videos for him. Drive back. The drive back took about 9 hours, and the drive back from LA to Vegas should be 4 hours.
Yeah,
9 hours in a Nissan Versa, and I was just like, oh, I just wanted to get out of that car so bad.
With my life?
Yes. So then I get the job done, and then there was a discrepancy between $100. So he thought it was going to be $100 when I sent him the invoice. He thought it was going to be $100 cheaper than what it was. Right. So I ended up eating the cost on that. And this guy pulls up in this, $350,000 car or whatever. I'm like, oh, really? But anyways, I ate the cost on that, and that's just always been my business approach. Is I'm like, if there's a discrepancy, I'll take the hit on it. It is what it is.
Just move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a grind at first. It made it work, and obviously that business got to a good stage, and then I got YouTube going. And it's funny, both of them started clicking almost at the same time.
So you, for your active income, you moved to what even made you move to Vegas? Because QT's not here, so you were doing the QT wherever else you were at. What made you come to Vegas?
So Vegas, I came out here, I think it was either 2011 or 2012. And came out with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and my brother as well. And he had a friend, Niels, who lived in Henderson. And he wanted to go, see his friend and whatnot. So I was like, okay, we'll go over there. I would just want to stay on the Strip. I was like 22 or whatever. You want to go to the clubs and the lounges and all that stuff. I was like, whatever, we'll go. And so we're driving, and we got off Green Valley Ranch Parkway. And, there's a Whole Foods and there's beautiful palm trees. And I was like, I didn't even know anything about Vegas. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. This is beautiful. And there's Green Valley Ranch there on the side, and there's a P.F. Chang's and everything. And I was like, wow, this is pretty. It reminded me of North Scottsdale in Arizona. And I was just really impressed. And then he wanted to go another day, so we went over there again. And I was just like, man, this is so nice over here in this Henderson area. So next thing we know, the trip ends and whatnot. I'm at home, in the apartment. And I start looking into it, and I find, there's no state income taxes in Nevada too. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I was already plotting to move to Vegas. And at that time, I was actually going to move to Charlotte, North Carolina with the company. But I already knew this was like destiny. I was like, at some point, I'm going to pull the plug and I'm moving to Vegas. I'm just like, that's where my heart lies.
Nice.
And so then I ended up leaving Quick Trip when my first son was born. And we moved out here in 2015.
Nice. So you start as an entrepreneur right when you come out here.
I actually took the first probably, what would that be, the 6 to 9 months off. Oh. So I took my son's full first year of life. I basically took it off.
Wow.
From the time he was born until actually he was a little over one. I kind of just retired for a bit and didn't do anything. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was cool, but then I got super bored. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's got to be so awesome.
Well, I'm just saying it's cool that you did that, for your son.
Yeah.
But so you do the real estate, you start doing YouTube. Like, at what point did YouTube click?
It was starting about 2017. And it was an interesting point because, the real estate marketing company was really starting to do good. I had consistent clients, and in that business, once you get a consistent, agent or whatever to consistently use you,
they're going to give you a ton of business.
Exactly. The hardest thing is to get them to give that one job, but once you get them, it's phenomenal. But then there was a moment. It was in 2017 when I remember there was something happened in the market that day, and I was in this house doing pictures. I was like, damn it, man, I really need to be home right now. I really need to be home filming a video, and I'm out here taking pictures for $120 or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, that's when I started having some conflicting ideas. And then basically in January of 18, I shut down that company. I sent everybody that was my clients at the time an email. I didn't even tell them. I was kind of embarrassed to tell them I'm going to just go full-time in YouTuber. Yeah, I'm like, I can't do that. So I just told them, I'm doing something else. And it's funny. Still nowadays, I still get random emails come through from people I sent emails to in 2016 that are like, hey, are you still in business? I'd love you to, or, I'm like, it's just hilarious that I sent that many emails that I still get people replying years later trying to get me to do a job for them. So
it just goes to show marketing, if you just constantly doing it, you're going to get those leads that you hit today, but you're setting a seed for down the road.
100%. Yep. 100%. And then the word of mouth, it can be really big too, where somebody tells another person. Yeah. I think the word of mouth is, especially if you're in a smaller business, that's the most powerful thing you can ever have, the word of mouth. So
100%. So you go YouTube full time, man.
Yep.
Like it just starts taking off pretty quickly, or how was your journey? Everyone's YouTube journey is a little different.
Yeah, my journey just slow and steady. I never took off. The first year I put out 100 videos and maybe had 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So I was definitely not an overnight sensation. I just grinded it out. My following got bigger and bigger and bigger as years went on. There was never this is Jeremy's year type thing. Like, he went viral this year. It's just been a slow, steady build. And I found that like every year I'm just more relevant than I was the previous year.
Yeah. And how many subscribers do you have now?
So the main channel's probably 710,000. And then I have my second channel, which I haven't posted on probably a year. That has like 170,000. And then I have a third channel, which has 100,000.
Why so many channels?
So it was kind of an algorithm related thing. So sometimes I want to do more than one video a day. And for a while, YouTube would kind of really, really penalize you if you posted multiple videos. It almost viewed you as a news network back in the day. And back in the day, like news networks couldn't get any views. Like CNBC television never got any views until starting about 2 or 3 years ago. It's crazy. And so that's why I kind of found a hack. I was like, well, if I post on another channel, they're not really going to know. But then something changed about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, where you could just post multiple videos on channel and still get a lot of views. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, Meet Kevin doesn't know that.
Yeah, he was the first one to really open up my eyes to that. And
he was like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, and it was at the perfect time, too. It was at the perfect time. And then, I think the changes happened slightly before when Kevin went big on that. And, it just, obviously went to the moon. So
yeah, one thing I've been testing is, my main channel is, where I talk about real estate, business, side hustles, whatever, right? And then my second channel is the podcast. Yep. And I've been big on TikTok, having almost 1 million followers there.
Wow.
I was really good at shorts and short form content. And every YouTuber told me, don't post your shorts on the main channel. Like they're all, like the big YouTubers are creating a whole new channel for their shorts. They're doing this, that. I was like, all right, fine. And, I did it maybe, 6-7 months ago. And, some people are like, don't post shorts. And now I see it. And like everyone's starting to post shorts now.
Yeah, that's funny.
I start posting one a day. So I posted one video a day almost. I don't post on weekends, but every weekday, one main channel video. And then I was doing one short a day with it. And then they were having great success. Some of them were getting, pretty good. I was like, dude, let's just go 3 a day, 3 shorts a day. So I don't know how it's going to go, but to your point, it's just like YouTube's always changing. You don't know what it's going to want tomorrow.
Yeah, the algorithm, man. The algorithm is fearful. Everybody's always scared. Oh, what if I do this and it messes up the algorithm? I think you have. I think it's actually a better position when you don't have a huge following, let's say on a social media, or you don't get a lot of views, because then you can test. You have nothing to lose. Exactly.
Yeah.
People like that are just kind of getting started, want to try to do the perfect thing, and it's like you got nothing to lose, man. Try it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, dude. I mean, at this point, I've got $175,000. I'm like, I'm still small. Like, it just, who cares? If it doesn't work, whatever.
Yeah, we'll pivot and we'll do something else.
Yeah, like whatever. So that's been my philosophy in business. Test new things. If it doesn't work, at least you know it doesn't work.
Yeah. And if it does work, you're a trailblazer, and everybody's like, oh, remember when he did that?
He was so smart.
Yeah.
It's like, I had 8 other ideas that failed, too.
100%, man.
So that's really cool, dude. Let's talk about just stocks, man. So, you know, I've never been a stock investor. My only experience investing in stocks was back in 2020 when they were at that all-time low.
Ooh.
And I pulled out my IRA because I was like, dude, I'm not like that. I don't know what I'm doing, but these stocks cannot be worth this much. Like they're so undervalued that I'm just going to throw a couple $100,000 into this.
Yep.
And, you know, I just bet a bunch of it on Tesla. I bet a bunch of it on just random, like you said, companies I like. I was like, hey, these are companies that I think are good. And it doubled. And
wow.
I don't know, like less than a year. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm an actor. No, I'm not an expert. But I ended up taking it out anyway. After it doubled, I was like, all right, like let's go through.
In 2021, did you take it out, or 2020 did you take it out?
When did I take it out? 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took it out, and I actually put it in my own fund to buy real estate because I'm like, at this point, I don't even know, but I just felt like it was so cheap that it was impossible to lose.
Yep.
But I mean, dude, for a guy like me, okay, let's just say I'm so heavy in real estate and business. Do you think that I should be diversified into stocks?
So I think so, to at least a certain extent. If you don't want to put in the work like I do, you know, because I'm looking into individual companies, I'm trying to find the next stock that's going to 3x or 5x or 10x over the next, 5-10 years or whatever, right?
I can't put in the work.
Yeah. So if you can't put in the work, I think index funds, I think that's always a solid way to go. You can get something that tracks the S&P 500. If you want to play a little riskier, you can get something that tracks like the Russell 2000. I think at the end of the day, there's no harm in that, and I think it's just you're going to prosper as America prospers. However, what I will say is if you got a better ROI opportunity, it always makes sense to put your money where the best ROI opportunity is.
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing for you. You might have a better ROI opportunity than an index fund that's going to get, let's say, 8 to 10% per year.
Right. Well, I pay my investors more than that on our deals. So
nice.
It's like I would just invest in my own deals at that point.
Exactly.
Just do it. So for me, I guess, as a real estate guy, and I'm probably anyone listening to the show who's a real estate guy is probably in the same boat. It's just like we don't have time to research stocks, and we also don't have the patience to like sit on it because we're always like when we flip houses, dude, we're in and out.
Yep.
Money's always moving and flowing. And, for me, I'm like, okay, even if I believe, Tesla this next 5 years is going to whatever, 5X, man, that's a long time to wait.
100%. And that's a great stock you bring up because Tesla, for almost 6 years, the stock price didn't move.
Really?
Yep, from 2014 through 19, the stock price basically went nowhere. You could pull up a chart, and the stock didn't do a thing. Meanwhile, the business was making tremendous progress on the underlying company. Everything was getting better. Revenue was going up. They obviously, imagine what they did over those years. Model S ramped, Model X came out, Model 3 came out. They ramped those vehicles. So much progress as far as the, autonomous driving.
Yeah.
So much progress, and the stock didn't do anything. And then finally, it goes on this epic run, and it goes up over 2,000%. And I'm somebody that's thankful that I participated in that. I got in. I didn't go in at the perfect time, but I got in at a pretty good time. I started buying in 2018 and into 2019. And then but even the first year I was in it, up and down, didn't really do much. And then, right around the time I hit second year, all of a sudden that's when it just went crazy. Everything clicked, and then they got to profitability, and everybody wanted to get in Tesla stock.
Yeah.
So.
For the last year, the real estate market has been on absolute fire. Prices are at all-time highs, interest rates are at all-time lows, and there is more money in the economy than ever. But with so much competition, many investors are sitting on cash, struggling to find great deals. If this sounds like you, then you need to invest with Pineda Capital. With my network and social media following, we get access to the best real estate deals all over the country. And if you're an accredited investor, you can invest with me on those deals. In fact, last year we purchased a 334-unit apartment complex in Georgia for almost $20 million. We expect it to be worth well over $30 million when it's all said and done. Our goal with each deal is to build in so much equity from the beginning that we're able to refinance our investors' cash out and own the properties together with little to no money into the deal. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. Our team will find the deals, handle the renovations, get them leased, and eventually refinanced or sold. All you have to do is provide the capital. So if you want exclusive access to our deals before they hit the public, go to pinedacapital.com to schedule a call. We can put your money to work today to start getting you great returns. So go to pinedacapital.com now to get access to our deals. As the world starts to go more digital, you need to be aware of which businesses are going to thrive in the future. One of the obvious ones is e-commerce. In fact, last year, e-commerce sales did over $4 trillion globally, and it's continuing to grow. Now, if you're like most people, you probably don't have time to learn a whole new industry and start a new business. But there is another way. You could partner with us at Lunar Ecom. We have over 300 e-commerce stores that we have created and managed for our clients. And the best part is, it's completely passive on their end. The business model is very simple. You cover the cost of creating and running the store. We handle everything else. We pick the products, we handle fulfillment, returns, and customer satisfaction. After all that, we split profits at the end of the month. This means that when you win, we win. If you want to learn more about how it works, you can watch our case study at lunarecom.com. I believe that the e-commerce space is going to continue to explode as the world goes digital. So make sure you're with the right partner who's going to be ahead of those trends. So go schedule a call with my team today at lunarecom.com if you want to learn about how we can start taking your passive income to the moon. So let's talk about that. That's a good example of Moore's Law. And, for those of you who don't know, Moore's Law is basically talking about how tech is, exponentially growing. And that's kind of what you're saying with Tesla. Just flat for years, and all of a sudden it explodes.
Yeah.
And then, you see Cathie Wood and, what is it, ARK Investments?
Yep, ARK Investments.
Really just like, that's all they're banking on.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
They play dangerous, and I would say, if you're looking to play a little dangerous,
if I'm getting into stocks, I'm looking to play dangerous.
Okay, then you're playing ARK. Then I would say put a mill in ARK and just let that baby grow. But yeah, she definitely she's more of a risk taker than I am actually even, and I think I'm a of the risk scale, I think I'm more toward the risky side than the super safe side. But
Graham's on the super safe side.
Oh yeah, super safe. Yeah, he's index funds all the way and nothing else. And respect, and he's another one that he just doesn't have the time to do it either.
Yeah.
So if you don't, because I put in an immense amount of time. Like I'm the one that's listening to earnings calls. I'm looking at financial reports. Not everybody wants to do that or has a time. Other people look at that and they're like, dude, I don't want to listen to a 45-minute earnings call or an hour earnings call.
You like it.
I love it. I love it, man. Like I can't think of anything I'd rather do, other than obviously be on your podcast here, Ryan.
Well, of course.
Outside of that, the next thing, but I love it, man. I love to it's almost like being a detective or because I'm constantly researching stocks. I'm constantly trying to find, like, even listen to tonality on like an investor presentation and trying to, there's certain things like CEOs can't really say because they give out too much information. So you're almost kind of like trying to see tonality.
You're parsing through.
Yes. And I love it, man. And I think that feeling for me is even better than the part where you make the money. I think that there's a certain feeling that goes through your body when you find that next stock. You're like, dude, this is the next like 5X, 10X stock that is just incredible, really. It's better than when it actually happens and you actually make the money, at least for me. The making the money part's cool, but it's that detective work and finally finding it and being like, this is the one. Yeah.
So, okay, I have so many questions about stocks, so I'll try and break these down.
Okay.
Talking about how everyone says, stocks are overvalued, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the price to earnings ratios just make no sense.
Yeah.
How do you rectify that?
Yeah, so recently the market's pulled back so much that I would say actually the majority of stocks are undervalued. Outside of a major recession, we're actually we're trading, to give you reference, small cap stocks and mid caps are trading at unsustainably low levels for forward P. Forward P looks at the next 12 months of expected earnings versus a stock price. So that's unsustainable. We're at levels where, like I said, unless we have a major recession, they're going to have to go much higher because the market can only stay unsustainably high and unsustainably low for so long. Last year in January, we were at peak FOMO in the market. And since that time, many stocks have fallen 60, 70, 80%.
Really?
Yeah, it's dramatic. Not a lot of people know about it because it's more in the small cap space in the mids that not a lot of people pay attention to. Most people, they look at the indexes or they look at like Apple, Google, Facebook, companies like that. And those stocks have such heavy weight on the indexes, they make everything look better than what's actually been the reality.
Because they're doing good, but everyone else is not.
Yeah, correct. And so right now, actually, if you're into small caps and mids, it's one of the best times. It's actually the best time we've had since 2011.
Wow.
We're trading the cheapest in over a decade. So the only risk I can see really being out there, that's a legitimate risk in my opinion, is if we were to go into some sort of major recession where
But then everything's screwed.
Yeah,
Whatever
exactly.
you invested in is screwed.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the one thing I'll say about my thesis is I'm like, as long as the economy is just okay, we don't even have to be in boom times. If the economy can just stay okay, a lot of these stocks, especially I've been buying heavy the last few months, are going to go on some epic runs. And the short activity right now in the market, which a short, for anybody that doesn't know, essentially somebody's betting against a stock.
Right.
And when you go to cover those shares, you have to buy back the underlying shares of that stock. Short activity has gone to insane levels on some of these stocks, and we've been trading around $1 trillion worth of puts a day. A put option is, once again, another bet, a derivative of essentially betting against a stock. So nonetheless, small caps and mid caps are set to go on a crazy epic run outside of a recession. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel about undervalued, overvalued. If you're looking at Apple, Google, they're trading a little rich. The biggest of the bigs. But outside of that, when you go, a few layers deep, oh my gosh, it was kind of like if, imagine a scenario in the real estate market where the luxury market was trading, at some insane valuations, like there wasn't enough luxury communities or something. And you'd be like, what is going on here? And meanwhile, the whole middle class communities are like way undervalued and like, this is unsustainable. Like they're trading up here. These guys are trading like at these insane, something's got to give there. And that's the same thing in the stock market right now. Something's got to give. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So talking about these mid and small caps, are you talking about ones that are, on the NASDAQ? What about like these super micro caps? Are you into that at all?
No, the smallest I'll get is maybe companies that have a few $100 million of market cap essentially. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of that. Planet 13 is a company I'm invested in, which I don't know if you've ever seen the location before.
Is it weed?
It is, yeah.
Okay, all right.
They have a superstore. You should check it out. I don't even use the product either, but I love to check out the store, man. It's incredible.
Just a crazy store.
Yeah, it's epic, man. It's like, you imagine a typical weed shop or cannabis shop as being, a little hole in the wall. This place it's like Disneyland for marijuana, man. It's incredible. You check it out sometime if you ever buy it. It's, right by Fashion Show Mall.
Okay.
And so they built a new store in Santa Ana. So I get into some of those types of stocks because I'm looking at it. And, once we get legal, federally legalized, which I think we're going to at some point in time, whenever, the government does it, that's one of those stocks that's set to explode. Tattooed Chef's one I've been investing in, which is a plant-based food company. I'm getting really into plant-based foods right now. Oh. I think that's the next industry.
Like you personally or just...
Yeah, me personally and investing in companies. Okay. Oatly's another one. I just started buying in the past couple months where these stocks have been beaten down in like the plant-based food space. I think is just going to boom over the next decade. Like I don't see it slowing down.
The media wants. Like you look at the media, everybody wants you to eat plant-based, and I'm like, dude, just like let me eat my steak and don't try to make me feel guilty about eating my steak.
Exactly. That's the thing, and it's not every. That's the thing. I think some people get confused about the whole plant-based movement. Is they think like, oh, I'm never gonna stop eating steak or chicken. And that's fine, but it's about like the next generation. What are their eating habits, right? My eating habits are different than my parents' eating habits, and I'm sure my kids' eating habits are going to be different than mine, right? There's a lot of stuff that I ate growing up as a kid that I don't let my kids eat,
right?
Or
Makes
drink.
Sense.
My parents didn't care if I drank sodas with 40 grams of sugar.
Yeah,
my kids aren't drinking that.
Definitely got to be down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about, Warren Buffett.
Yep.
This is the guy that got you into it. And Warren Buffett gets a lot of heat based on, he hasn't like been much in the news, for being this guy that's always been ahead of everyone. Everyone else was beating his returns. I don't know if that's still true today after the pullback And by the way, anyone listening to this, I don't know when this episode's getting released, but it's February 3rd. And so, maybe there's no pullback by the time it's released. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Yeah. So, when it comes to Buffett, he has a couple things working against him. One is, in all due respect, he's like 90 years old. You know what I mean? Like
he ain't a spring chicken.
Like if we're still alive at 90, I think we'll be happy. Never mind running, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's incredible, right? So I give him respect for that. Also, the tough thing for Buffett, he has so much money now. His company has so much money that they can only invest in the biggest of the big deals.
Right, because they just can't get enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense for him to try to pursue a $500 million market cap or even a $5 billion market cap. It's like a joke. It's like, no, like I need to buy the biggest of the big companies. He's going after a $50 billion deal, a $100 billion deal. And that makes your returns tough.
Yeah.
Like imagine if in real estate you could only go after homes that were at least $10 million, versus be able to go after everything. It makes your ROI possibilities go down dramatically.
Well, what's interesting is in the real estate space, I witnessed this with the hedge funds. These guys were coming in, they were overpaying for homes, and I couldn't understand it as a young investor. I'm like, why would they pay this much? And I was like, they're going to lose money. And it's like, no, dude, they have so much money. They have to put to work.
Yes.
And if they don't, they lose money.
Yes.
Like they're cool making 5%. Like that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. The VC space is a lot like that. Venture capital. It's the same thing where, a lot of times they're desperate to put money in whatever they think could be a big thing. It's like, we just got to get the money out.
They just have the money. It's better than it just sitting in their bank.
Yep. Because their clients start looking at them and they're like, "Hey, why aren't you doing anything with the money? Like, what the heck? I gave you this money so you could invest it. I didn't give you the money so it could sit in your bank account over there at that fund or whatever." So they start getting a little desperate to make deals. But in terms of Warren Buffett, it's funny. Cathie Wood obviously had a ton of of praise throughout 2020 and into 2021, and now actually Buffett, exactly. Now it's complete opposite, and then Berkshire has just been slowly rising, and it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare race right now. So
I saw that and I was like, I wonder how this does play out, because I'm a believer in what Cathie Wood believes. Like I believe tech is going to just exponentially explode over everything else. But Buffett doesn't really like that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of it, he just doesn't understand it. 90 years old, and maybe we won't understand it when we're 90. Who knows what they're going to be doing at that time. Like maybe the Metaverse by that time is like some old ancient thing. We're like, remember when we used to be in the Metaverse? That was the good times, man. Now they're doing this thing.
Yeah.
But it's tough to continue to adapt. And, I feel like for even me, I don't even feel like I'm getting into my prime with investing yet. I feel like your prime for stock market investing is about 35 years old to about 60.
Yeah.
So, once you get over 60, I think it becomes really tough because you're so set in your ways and you expect things to work certain ways. So.
And the other thing that happens when you get older is like you're not in growth mode anymore. You're just in preservation. And I've heard that multiple times from financial advisors. They're like, well, I don't get paid to get the best returns. I get paid to keep their money safe.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, hedge funds think a lot like that.
Yeah.
For high net worth individuals, it's not about getting the best return. It's about keeping that relationship and not having them lose a lot of money.
Yeah, and I thought about that too as I've started making more money, and I'm like, yeah, at some point, it doesn't matter. Like the risk, even if it looks like a good risk when I was young, is not a good risk, as I get older.
Yeah, 100%. I could see that. For me, I don't know what level I'm gonna have to hit to understand that. But me, I'm still like, if I see it, man, I go after it. So,
so do you bet like big on certain things, or are you like taking small bets on a lot of things? What's your strategy?
No, I have about 10 stocks that are core positions. I probably own
What's
less
a core
than,
position? What percentage of your
It has to have at least 6 figures or 7 figures in that stock to be like a core position. And for me, I don't even think I own 20 stocks total.
Because it's not worth your time.
Yeah, exactly. I want to have my capital allocated in the best opportunities. And usually that's about 10 to 15 stocks.
Yeah.
So
what are some of your best stocks that you like?
Tattoo Chef, speaking about that one, if you go to your local Target, next time you go to Target, Ryan, check it out. Go to the freezer section. You're going to see these, they got a full door now. It's incredible.
Okay.
And they weren't even in Target in the past. Honest, HNST. That's like
for babies.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
diapers.
Honest.
Yeah. Honest is amazing. And
Isn't that Jessica Alba's?
Yes. And so it went public at the worst time possible, right after the FOMO period.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been able to build up its long-term shareholder base. It went public at like 22, 23. It's at $6 today. The company's doing amazing. Their
products are great.
Yeah, they should grow easily 10 to 15% this upcoming year. But they haven't been able to get their long-term shareholder base, and we went into this market dip for small caps and mids. And so that's one I think is like an easy 3x over the next few years.
I might invest in that, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you got me thinking, like, if I'm willing to do it long term,
yeah,
you know, and like if it's a company that I know, I use their product, like I know it's good. I know that what you just said, it's only $6, like compared to other stocks, like, dude.
Yeah, they're growing way faster than like Procter and Gamble and Kimberly-Clark and all the traditional companies. They've gotten into the beauty business recently, which is very high margin. So their margins are likely going to go up over the coming years. And so that's just another one of those stocks that the thing I think people get into trouble with stocks is they try to watch on a day-to-day basis, or they mess around with money they can't afford to go down on, and they freak out and they panic sell. If that stock, what if somebody invests in Honest at 6 and it goes to 4?
Right.
What if that happens, in the short term? You never know. The market's crazy. So even if it's going to 30 over the coming years, people get freaked out at 4 and they're like, oh, what is it going to go bankrupt? It's going to go to 0?
No, I'm with you. What else you like? Let me hear it.
Yeah, the Planet is the other one. That one's just incredible. If you go to the Planet here, which is right off the strip on a Friday night in the summertime, oh my gosh, man. They now have like over 100 registers there, and they want to do a lounge at that location.
I was thinking you were saying Planet 13 again.
Planet different. 13. No, this is the same planet. I call it the Planet. So
okay. All right.
Yeah, that one's tremendous. And then Corsair Gaming, CRSR. It's another one I've been buying pretty heavily recently. And that one, they make gaming keyboards, gaming mice, and then they also have a brand called Elgato. So if you go to your local Best Buy, you'll see they actually have a whole section for Elgato, which makes like really high quality webcams, microphones. They have a good microphone brand as well, and a lot of products like that, like Stream Decks. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Kevin. I think he uses Elgato Stream Deck. Okay. They make like the best Stream Deck out there. So so those are some of the stocks that I've been investing in pretty heavily recently.
So what do you think you do with most of your day? You're just researching for the next big one you want to invest in.
Yeah, for the most part, a lot of my day is constructive YouTube videos if it's a weekday, especially because I'm putting out content. So that's maybe taking up several hours. But the cool thing is,
wouldn't your content just be your research you're doing anyway?
That's a beauty. I've basically built my whole life as kind of like a stock market empire, essentially, where I'm researching things for YouTube videos and for my private stock group, and then obviously with my own accounts. And so my whole life is kind of focused on the stock market, a thing I love to do, and I'm thankful for that YouTube gave me that opportunity to really focus my entire life just around stock market investing, since that's what I really love to do. That's pretty cool.
Is it just at this point, make active income with everything YouTube related, go throw it into stocks?
Basically, yeah. Well, right now, a lot of my money goes to the Hungry Bowl. So that's an app we started. And that, loses, 5 figures a week. Every week. Yeah, 5 figures a week every week. So that's a money pit right now. We're hoping to build that into something really successful over time. But yeah, a lot of my money goes to that right now. And man,
but what do you think of that? Like you're starting a new business, and we all know that with like a startup app and a tech business, it's you knew going into it you're going to lose money and burn cash as you develop it and try and get users. So like, how's your how long has it been since you launched? Yeah, so since we got the app on the App Store, that was probably August or September, probably August. So but the concept we came up, and Graham's one of the partners of that. We came up with that concept around this time last year. January maybe or something like that, February. And so it's basically a year in the making, but in terms of being on the App Store, about 6-7 months. And we're going to try to make a website as well that can compete, hopefully, with Yahoo Finance and build it into more of an overall company rather than just an app. Right.
But yeah, it's painful because, it's not going to make me money anytime soon. That's the thing. It's not like,
it's a long-term play.
Yeah, we're not getting a cash flow positive tomorrow. It's like, if we're lucky, we can get cash flow positive next year.
Right.
Which seems like forever for now. You know what I mean?
So you just keep throwing money at it.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep burning the money. So yeah, it's a big bet from me, and we'll see. You know, maybe it doesn't pay off, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That's being an entrepreneur.
Exactly, and I've learned a lot. You know, no matter what, those things I've learned over the past year, just with this whole project, I'm going to carry it forever. What I will say though, developers, man, do they have the market by the what right now? They have this whole market. Developers are in total control right now. And they are going to command top wages. And even if you give them top wages, they're probably not going to stay with you because they got a million other offers. I've never seen such a group, a professional group that is so in power as developers are. It's incredible. So that's the one thing I underestimated going in, was how hard it was going to be to get top tier developers for somewhat reasonable cost, or just get them at all.
Right.
So
makes sense. Well, guys, we're going to link to the Hungry Bowl down below. Okay. Make sure you download it so Jeremy can stop losing money sooner. Like, just download the Hungry Bowl.
They'll make us lose actually more money if you download it, but go ahead,
Well, it'll get them closer to the goal at some point.
Yeah, 1 million monthly active users someday.
Yeah, for sure. So, tell me about crypto, dude. I like asking stock guys about it. Like,
it's a deep subject.
I've said, my perspective is, NFTs are very much like real estate. They're not really liquid. They've got utility. They've got different things. Whereas crypto is a lot like stocks. It's just freaking, you trade it. There's liquidity. Goes up or down. There's micro caps. There's big caps. What do you think?
Yeah, crypto's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, if enough people give something a lot of value, it's going to have value, right? So that's what it is with Bitcoin. It's not like stocks where there's like an underlying company that's cash flowing and they could pay you out dividends and things like that. Like, crypto doesn't exist like that. But if a lot of people want to give value to Bitcoin or whatever crypto, then they can do that, right? We saw Dogecoin obviously last year. The thing I do like about crypto is I'm starting to see things like Ethereum actually have a lot of real world practicality to them, with NFT movement especially. That is something I appreciate with crypto, where in the past I've looked at crypto and I've been like, well, these things have these...
Why do we need this?
Yeah, exactly. Why do we need it? Like, it's not really doing anything in the real world right now. So I am going to appreciate it more if we start using it more for transactions and more for just other use cases like NFTs and things like that. So I would say overall, I'm probably bullish on crypto long term. Do I have a lot invest in crypto? No. I'm 100% in one specific crypto, and then outside of that, I do own a crypto brokerage. Well, not own it, but like own the stock of it. Voyager Digital.
Okay.
So that's kind of the way I'm playing it, because I'm like, crypto could become a big thing. I want to own a brokerage company that really deals in that space, and Voyager's that one that I like to play.
Why not Coinbase?
Yeah, Coinbase, I feel like, has a lot less growth than Voyager will over the coming years. But I do like Coinbase. And I think if you invest in Coinbase, you're probably going to end up making money over the coming years, to be honest.
Yeah,
so,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
What about real estate?
Real estate. So I never owned any real estate until I was already a millionaire. I went the complete opposite way I think most people were. I didn't buy my first real estate property. I rented until 2019.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people would say it's probably a bad decision. But also remember, I was moving around. So I didn't want to get tied down to a real estate property, which, hindsight is probably the right decision, because I moved, to Charlotte for a job opportunity, then moved to, obviously Vegas. So I was never tied down by, I don't want to sell this house or something.
Right.
But yeah, so I bought my first house. We've done really good on that. I think I have maybe $500K equity in that. Yeah. Bought a house in Arizona during the pandemic.
Nice.
And that was a new build, and
what are you doing with it?
We're actually leaving to it in a few days. So it's just like a vacation home essentially.
Are you gonna Airbnb it?
No,
just a second home.
Yeah, just a second home. And then we got the new big house, which is in obviously I don't want to mention the specific place, but yeah. So
you'll have to tell me about
I
that
got
one.
I got 3 homes now. So so I have a pretty good amount in real estate now. I would say probably, maybe 5 mil, and probably 2.5 is equity.
So are you going to move into this new big house?
No, we're already there. That's the one. I don't want to mention the specific community, but for me it's big. Because it's bigger than anything I ever lived in. But then my son the other night, he says, "Dad, you need to buy a mansion. Why don't we live in a mansion?" I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Oh my gosh, man, these kids.
These kids, man. That's what I tell my wife all the time. So, yeah, no, that I love hearing that story. I always love hearing what people are doing with different investments and all that stuff. So, for the most part, though, you're just sticking to what you know and you enjoy it. You make content around it. And I think that's the dream, man. Just like, dude, do something you love. And if it can make you money, and you can find way more ways to monetize that, like, dude, what else could you do?
100%. Yeah, and that's doing what you love, I think, is the most important thing. Otherwise, you're going to get burned out pretty quickly. If it's just about the money, I think you're more likely to get burned out. Like, even I was on, Iced Coffee Hour last night, and Graham was like, oh, you should do your videos this way and do it like this, like all this fancy equipment and stuff. I'm like, that's going to make my life so much more complicated than what I do right now. And so I was trying to explain to him, like, that would slow down my process, and also I wouldn't enjoy it. And if I'm not enjoying it, it slows down my process. What's the point of doing it? I'm going to end up getting burnt out because that's not what I like to do. Yeah. So, that's kind of those tough decisions you got to make sometimes.
Yeah, man. So I know you got a private group. What does everyone do in the private group?
Yeah, my private stock group, it's education focused. So we have massive amounts of course curriculum, everything I look for in stocks, like how to read income statements, balance sheets, cash flows. So it's really for that group of folks that are really down the rabbit hole like I am. Yeah. It's the product that I wish existed when I got in the market, because I had to try to read a lot of books, trial and error. And I didn't really, it's not like Warren Buffett had a course or something like that didn't exist, So trying to create that, and then we got the big Discord chat, which everybody just chats about stocks all the time and the market and whatnot and what moves they're making. And so we built a pretty cool community now that I'm really, really proud of. So that's basically that, and I love being part of it. It's fun. So
no, I love that, dude. We'll definitely link to that down below so everybody can go take advantage of that if they want to get into stocks. The last question I have is with day trading.
Yes.
We didn't touch on that. Like, what do you think?
No. Yeah, there's a reason they've done statistics and like 90% plus of day traders don't make it. No, I mean, you're going to be at a massive competitive disadvantage with day trading. It's more likely not going to work out. And, I just advise everybody, no. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. I'll just leave it there. That's a whole different type of game to play as far as that goes. And
are you one of the guys? It doesn't sound like it because you're talking about just fundamentals of companies and looking at it as a business, like buying into that. Like whenever I hear these guys who like talk about reading the charts and stuff, and they make like all the designs, I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, where did you? It's like you could justify anything with any line. I'm like, well, yeah, that followed the W path. Everyone knows that. I'm like, the only path I know that's good is just straight up and right.
Yeah, I make zero of my decisions based upon charts or anything like that. Technical analysis.
Do you think that stuff works?
I think it only works because certain amount of people think it works. And so they trade based upon that. They're like, oh, don't buy that stock because the chart doesn't
got resistance here and it's got.
Yeah. And so if enough people believe it, then they don't do it, right? Or it's like, oh, this chart's looking really good, let's buy it. So if enough people believe that, then, enough people put in the money toward it. But I don't think it works the way people usually how it is after the fact. Then they'll put their charts together and be like, yeah, this is why this is da.
Yeah, everything's hindsight with the charts.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody on the billionaire list who got rich from doing charts. Yeah,
they actually built businesses that sold products or they invested in them and helped them grow. And that's what made them valuable.
Yes, 100%. Not because they were a technical analysis day trader. Believe me on that. So.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I think that was super helpful for those who are getting started. And guys, if you don't already, make sure you follow Jeremy, on all his social medias. And like we said, go sign up for the Hungry Bowl. And
yeah, Hungry Bowl. It's free on iOS, Android now. Everybody that leaves us a review, I appreciate you. Thank you.
There we go. So go check it out, guys. And thanks for watching the episode. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.